You may have noticed in recent years there's been an influx in reviving classic video game IPs, either in the arcade or on current gen consoles. Sega favourites Afterburner and Outrun both had modern day sequels, with the outstanding Outrun 2 in 2003 and the exhilarating Afterburner Climax in 2006. And with Sega classics Shinobi and Golden Axe set to make a return in the near future, interest in resurrecting these retro relics is at an all-time high. But we're not here to talk about new Sega games, no. Today we're looking at the return of a long-forgotten game, born from ghosts, goblins and Thundercats?
In the year of our Lord, 1987, in the mythical land of Lichfield, nestled amidst the verdant plains of Staffordshire, the noble house of Elite Systems did acquire the sacred rights to forge a game in honour of the legendary Thundercats. They summoned forth artisans from distant lands, entrusting Paradise Software with the grand endeavour. Yet wary of fate's fickle ways, Elite did also commence their own work in secret. As Yuletide drew nigh, calamity loomed, for neither creation was fit to grace the shelves. In desperation, Elite did discover a near-complete relic, a game known as Samurai Dawn, wrought by faster than light. With haste they did weave the threads of Thundercats into its fabric, transforming it into the lost eye of Thundera, thus saving the holiday feast. And so, through guile and grit, the legend of Thundercats did endure, to the delight of adventurers far and wide.
Well, Thundercats is a resounding success, and the reviews are good. Now, these other two games that were left unfinished. Mike, what's happening with Elite's in-house game? What have you got planned for that? Well, I've got an idea for a sequel to Bomb Jack. But get this, instead of collecting bombs, he's collecting bags of gold. Bomb Jack 2? How have you gone from Thundercats to Bomb Jack? Never mind, just, go ahead. But whatever you do, make sure you remove the Thundercats theme tune from the Commodore 64 version. We don't want Lorimar Productions on our back. Remove Cooks's Thundercats theme from C64. Tim, the other game, with the Paradise Software game, what's happening with that one? So, you know how we did the home conversion of Ghosts and Goblins, whereas this game only had 3 levels as opposed to the arcade 6? The last level in this game is set in an ice palace. So, I'm thinking of doing a sequel, if you like, that takes players beyond the ice palace. What do you think? Ghosts and Goblins 2. You know, you might have something there, Tim. I'll tell you what, let me get Capcom on the blower. Hello, is that Capcom? Hi, it's Elite Systems here. In the UK? Yeah, the one who did the Ghosts and Goblins port. with just the 3 levels? Well, I've got a cracking idea. So we've got an unfinished game that we plan to turn into a kind of sequel to Ghosts and Goblins, like an extension of that first game. Whereas the first game ended in the Ice Palace, this new game will go beyond the... Oh. You're already working on a sequel of your own. Okay, what's it called? Ghosts and Goblins 2? Ghouls and Ghosts. Wouldn't kids get confused between the two games? Hello? Hello? They hung up. Right, so I would just go ahead and do your own thing, but whatever you do, make sure it's longer than 3 levels, and please, make it a little bit more easy this time. Well, there we go. That game ultimately became Beyond the Ice Palace. But what's it like? Is it any good? Well, let's take a look. First off, we'll check out the Amstrad CPC version, and this is the most visually appealing of the 3 8-bit systems. As with all ports of the game, you start off with a choice of 3 weapons, but choose wisely, as they all have their own strengths and weaknesses. The dagger is the weakest weapon. The sword is stronger, but does more damage, whereas the mace is good for attacking the flying enemies, but as it arcs, not so much for the foes at ground level. And as you can see from this map of the Spectrum version, the game is short. Very short. And like Elite's Ghosts and Goblins before it, it has just 3 levels. But the difficulty has been dialed up to 11, probably to hide the fact that the game is so short. No doubt kids would find themselves replaying the level over and over again till they memorise the enemy's patterns and movements. But fear not, you start the game with 9 lives to help you in. Wait. 9 lives? So this game was originally going to be a Thunder Cat game. And this game gives you 9 lives? Coincidence? Nah. Right, where was I? Yeah, so 9 lives, and you're gonna need them, as the enemies are relentless. This is one of those games where they just keep respawning, even after you go back to an area that you have already cleared. The nasties include flying bat-type creatures that are the easiest to defeat, but are the most annoying. There's axe-wielding zombie-esque characters, demons that materialise shooting energy balls at you, and when you've disposed of all these, there's the end-of-level Guardian. The first of which is at the top of this shaft with 3 moving platforms, which is the most frustrating part of the entire game, as those annoying bat creatures just decide to spawn halfway up as you're travelling up on the platform, giving you no time at all to react. In addition to your weapons and 9 lives, you also have the ability to summon the spirits of the forest that appear for a very brief time to destroy any enemies they come into contact with. You only get 2 spirits, but more can be collected along the way. Now, in theory, this is a good idea, but in reality, not so good, as it takes a few seconds for the spirit to appear after you've pressed the spacebar or whatever key you've defined, and by this time you've probably already lost a life. As well as picking up extra spirits, you also get the chance to pick up a different weapon, but take my advice, avoid the dagger. And there's also red gems dotted throughout the levels, but these do nothing and are purely just to add to your score. So what's the backstory to this game? Who is the hero with the blonde barnet? And why is he risking life and limb against these hordes of devilish deviants? Well, while we take a look at the other 4 versions of the game, I'll explain. Beyond the Ice Palace and to the north lies a magical realm plagued by darkness. A once prosperous land is now under the shadow of an evil sorceress with her monstrous minions terrorising the kingdom. The spirits of the forest, enslaved by the sorceress, manages to fire an enchanted arrow into the air from their cells. Whoever finds this arrow will be given great powers and strength to embark on a perilous journey to banish this evil once and for all. Armed with an arsenal of projectiles and aided by orbs of spiritual power, the player braves treacherous forests and crumbling castles to restore peace. Layout and gameplay wise, all versions of Beyond the Ice Palace are very similar. Unfortunately, the Amstrad and Spectrum ports have no in-game music, which is a shame as, like I said, the CPC version is the nicest looking of the 8-bit ports. For me though, the Commodore 64 is the most playable of those 3. It just feels better and plays a lot faster than the other 2. And the SID chip version of David Whittaker's theme slaps. And of course this game also got releases on the 2 16-bit machines at the time, the Commodore Amiga and the Atari ST. The Amiga version, as one would expect, is the best out of all ports, with nicely detailed backgrounds and colourful sprites. Fast-paced and addictive gameplay though is let down by the fact that the character in this version doesn't seem to jump as high as other versions, making avoiding unwanted weapons a challenge in itself. But you can't deny that this version's music is the best out of all 5 ports of Beyond the Ice Palace. The Atari ST version is basically the same as the Amiga version, which is no surprise, seeing as the Amiga was a port of the Atari ST version. The only difference being the music, which shares the same AY chip as the Amstrad CPC. And if you're lucky enough to get to the end of level 3, you get to face off against the evil sorceress and her lightning bolt attack. Defeat her and you get this underwhelming end screen. Although it wasn't a mainstream blockbuster, Beyond the Ice Palace has earned a cult following, and now, almost 40 years later, the legend returns with Beyond the Ice Palace 2 on PS5, Nintendo Switch and Xbox Series X. Beyond the Ice Palace has risen from nostalgic obscurity to recapture imaginations. So what new adventures await in this reimagined modern day classic? Developed by French software house Storybird Studio, Beyond the Ice Palace 2 takes us on a dark fantasy journey as the cursed king, presumably the protagonist from the original game, is bound by chains. After breaking free, these chains now double as weapons and even tools for opening doors and reaching new heights. The gameplay is very reminiscent of the Castlevania games, but with its own unique twists. The game blends retro-inspired pixel art with modern gameplay mechanics, paying homage to its 8-bit roots. The game is littered with puzzles such as this one here with this counterweight to allow you to reach secret areas. Visit a merchant's shop to spend your hard-earned gold. Interact with other characters. Face huge bosses, and even bigger guardians. And collect power crystals to upgrade vitality, power and rage meters. So, even though Elite Systems is still operating to this day, they had no input in this game. And the only real reference to the 1988 game is the mention of an enchanted arrow. So, in summary, Beyond the Ice Palace 2 is a nostalgic yet modern action platformer that will appeal to fans of challenging games with retro aesthetics. It's not perfect, but its heart is in the right place, making it a worthy addition to the library of any gamer who loves a good challenge. So what do you think? Is this game a worthy successor to its 1988 predecessor, or does it fall short of the hype? Let me know in the comments below. Well, just over a week ago I never thought that I would be reviewing a PS5 game on this retro channel. But it is Beyond the Ice Palace in name only. Like I said, it plays very, very similar to Castlevania, only you have chains instead of a whip. But I can't think of another game that has such a big time frame in between the original and the sequel. Let me know in the comments below if there is another game with a bigger gap than 37 years between the two. And let's not forget, if it wasn't for Thundercats, or indeed ghosts and goblins, then this game wouldn't exist. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, bye! Oh, that's not going to work, is it? Where's my quick shot? Oh, pick the dagger up!